Hey guys, Jay Woodford here. I wanted to visually, I think that the best way that any of us learn, I know for me, I'm convinced from my research that unless we can get a visual understanding of how something works, it makes it really hard for us to solidify that belief. It's kind of like if I was going to tell you how to get to Detroit. If you could visually see how to get somewhere, once you can see how to visually get somewhere, then you have, it's like, it's absolute faith, right? It's not um, It is not, what do we call it? Speculation anymore. So I want to show you something real quick that's going to help you to see this visually, okay? So first and foremost, this is what we're talking about, the path to failure, the path to success. Now, what are you doing? Here we go. Okay. So if you start off in a business, you start off in something, think of, as we're going through this actually, think of something that you've done in your life where you've quit, because that's going to make sense here. Listen, I've done it too. Everybody's done it. Don't feel bad about it. It's part of the journey. You don't quit because you're a quitter, and you're about to see that here. So I want to show you exactly what happened. So think of a time, whether it's you joined a business or you did something where you inevitably quit. You're going to see exactly what happened here, and you're going to see why it is that you're not a quitter. We start off, we have that worthy goal, vision, ideal, that thing that we want to accomplish, and we're going along, something happens, broke Uncle Bob comes, somebody comes along, or that third party voice, your own head trash comes and says, hey, what if you fail? Now, ideally what we want to do is we want to say, say to ourselves or say to that person, failure only happens when you quit. I'd rather die than quit. This is like the posture that we have. I'd rather die than quit. It's not happening. F you, get out of my way, not going there. I'm not setting my mind anywhere in that direction. We carry on, we keep moving on, keep taking the action we need to take, keep doing the things that we're talking about, visualizing, seeing it, focused, 100% focused on where it is we want to go, no distractions, no what ifs as it pertains to failure, none of that crap that's going to put us in a negative mindset and therefore allow room for doubt, fear, failure, all that stuff to come in. So we keep working, keep going, inevitably in the midst of in the midst of messing up, I should say, screwing up, we pick ourselves back up. Why do we do that? When we're pursuing something, why is it that we'll continue to move forward in the midst of horrible trials and mess ups? It's because we fundamentally have not lost the faith that we're going to get there. So we continue to do that, we succeed. Here's what happens when we quit. Same thing. You started off in your business, you had a goal or a vision, some picture, and usually, guess what? It's not very clear. This is another reason that it allows the room for doubt to come in. What if you fail? And our posture is, yeah, what if I fail? What if I actually fail? We take that, we picture it, right? Think of those moments where that's happened with you and you've actually started to picture. You start seeing it actually play out in your imagination. And the more that you do that, the more plausible and real that it starts to become, and you can see it happening, and you can start to see how it can actually happen. So the more that you do that, it's building the belief. You're starting to believe it because it seems more plausible. You find that you're becoming more and more convinced that you're going to fail. What happens is you do that, it sucks you in. You start to see the picture more and more clearly. You start to see that end result of failure happening. You feel the pain, you feel the disappointment, you feel everything related to that. No longer do you have any faith. You've convinced yourself that failure is inevitable. The goal now, by default, because of the fact that we are so motivated by avoiding pain. That is the greatest motivator for all of us, not pursuing something good. This is why you got to focus. This is why it just seems to happen so much easier, right? It's not a fight to go down the road of failure. It's a fight to stay on the path of success. And so it becomes impossible for us to take action towards our goal. This is why I say when I'm dealing with people in a leadership capacity, I never ever deal with them when they're not taking the action that they need to be taking. I never ever say you're just lazy. You're just one of those people. If you want it bad enough, you'll do something about it. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. We find excuses and procrastinate and all these things, fail to take the action that we need to take because we inevitably, unconsciously or consciously think, what the hell's the point? It's just going to end up in disappointment and failure anyway, so why even try? Because we've gone down this process. And guys, it all started right there. Yeah, what if I fail? We took that seed, it was handed to us. What if you fail? That seed was given to us. and we take it, we plant it in the soil of our mind. As soon as we say, what if I fail? What if I fail? We start picturing it and seeing it happen. We planted that seed in our mind, and the more that we picture it, the more plausible it seems, the more we're feeding that seed instead of ripping it out or just stop feeding it and fertilizing it and just leaving it alone and carrying back on what the original vision. We continue to feed it. It sucks us in, doesn't it? You know this. It sucks you in because it's scary, and we can't help but be scared that this is what's going to happen. So that leads to quitting and therefore secures failure. You have not quit because you're a quitter. Your identity is not a quitter. Your identity is deep down. All of us have the same software. We got the same machinery, every single one of us. You have the same capacity for success as Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or Tiger Woods or anybody else. I do too. Every single person does. The drug dealer, crack addict, homeless person that you walk by downtown your city, same thing. They just got beat down and started to see themselves as failures. That's where we need to change. And we can't do it alone. We need people in our life who can help us to see ourselves as better than we are. There's a lot of elements that go into this, but first and foremost, it is up to you where you set your mind. This is what we're talking about. I'm trying to visually show this to you, that it's not about, if we just hear, we got to direct our thoughts. What does that look like? Practically, how do I do this? What does this mean? How does this play out? This is what it is. Maintaining a clear vision of where it is you want to go and putting the blinders on, not allowing yourself to become distracted by the opinions of others or the failures of others, educating yourself and coming to understand that there is no such thing as failure until we quit, and success is inevitable. If we will push through, think of everything that was said to be impossible. If we'll push through, there's always a solution. There's always a way. And you have to become obsessed with that vision. You've got to visualize it, because the more you visualize it, just like what we're seeing here with failure, right? Just like we're seeing here. The more you picture something, the more plausible it becomes. The more clear it is, the more you can see how it can actually happen. That's why you've got to picture your end result. Picture it, live it out, put on some inspirational music, do everything you can to create that emotional response and live it. Hypnotize yourself, because the more you believe it, the more you're going to turn the valve for desire and actually allow yourself to desire it, and that's gonna compel the motivation, the ambition, everything that you need to become successful and do the things that you need to do. So I hope that helps you, and there's gonna be a lot more where this comes from. So love you guys, and we'll talk with you soon.